let's continue solving linear equations. So what's going to be different if I look at problem 1 compared to problem 2? Well, let's solve number 1 like we know how to and see if we run into any hiccups. So we got 7 minus 2n minus n equals negative 14. First thing I need to do is combine like terms. So that's going to be 7 minus 3n equals negative 14. All right, our goal now is to get this negative 3n by itself. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. So I'll get negative 3n equals negative 21. My final step then is to divide both sides by negative 3. That's going to give me n equals positive 7. Okay? That is just a multi-step equation. We've done problems like that in previous videos. What about number 2? We have 2 plus 5k equals 3k minus 6. So what's different about this one? We have variables on both sides of the equation. Okay, so that's something different. We have variables on both sides. So what we need to do is we need to get our numbers on one side and our variables on the other. Okay, so I always like to keep the number that's multiplying my variable positive. So in number 2, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 3k from both sides. I'm going to get the variables together first on one side. All right, that's going to leave me with 2 plus 2k equals negative 6. All right, now this looks like something we've dealt with. So the first step was just to get the variables together on one side. And like I said, I like to keep this number that's multiplying my variable positive. You don't have to. It's just a move that I like to make. All right? So next step is to just go back to what we know, how to solve. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So it's going to be a 2 times k equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 2. I'll get k equals negative 8 divided by 2, which is negative 4. And then, remember, check your work just like we have. Every time you see a k, plug in negative 4. So I've got 2 plus 5 times negative 4 equals 3 times negative 4 minus 6. If I simplify this, the left-hand side is going to become 2 minus 20, which is negative 18. The right-hand side is going to be negative 12 minus 6, which is also negative 18. Left-hand side equals the right-hand side. That's true. So this is the correct solution. All right, let's do a couple more examples. We're going to skip this one because that is the exact same problem as number 2. All right, but let's do something like 4. All right, we got parentheses here. Remember, when we got parentheses, we're going to use the distributive property. So I'm going to distribute that 6. So 6 times 5m is 30m. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Equals, now I got to distribute this fraction. I got to distribute 1/3. So I'm off to the side here. I'm going to take 1/3 times 24m. If I cross cancel here, 1/3 times 24m is going to be 8m. And then 1/3 times 12, if I cross cancel there and then multiply across on the top and the bottom, that's going to give me positive 4. All right, so from here, get the variables on one side. So I'm going to get the variables over to the left-hand side. How am I going to do that? I'm going to move the 8m over. So that's going to be 22m minus 18 equals 4. Next step, I'm going to add 18 to both sides because now I got to get the numbers to the other side. So I've got 22m equals 22. Final step is to divide both sides by 22. And I'll get m equals 1. All right, so that's the big thing. When you got variables on both sides, you want to get the numbers on one side and your variables on the other. Okay? Let me see if I can think of another problem just so we have it. Instead of 3, because we had to scratch that out, let me see if I can do another one. So we got these u try nows. Let's see. Let's do 15. Let me make sure it's not anywhere else on this page. 15 plus 4a equals 9a minus 5. All right, so for this, get my a's on one side, my numbers on the other. I'm going to subtract 4a from both sides just so that I can keep the a value positive. All right, so if I subtract 4a from both sides, now I'm dealing with 15 equals 5a minus 5. Next step, add 5 to both sides. 20 equals 5a. My final step is just going to be divide both sides by 5. A will equal 4. All right. What if, and I'm going to move this stuff over here. All right. What if we started with this original problem, 15 plus 4a equals 9a minus 5, and I decided to move the a over to the other side. What if I decided to subtract 9a from both sides? Let's see. We should get the same answer. But let's see how this is going to change the first way we solved it. So now it's 15 minus 5a equals negative 5. So now the number on the a is negative. That's still fine. So our next step is to subtract 15 from both sides. So we get negative 5a equals negative 20. When I divide both sides by negative 5, a will equal positive 4. All right, so it does not matter what side you move the variables and what side you move the numbers, okay? As long as your next steps in solving are correct. In the next video, we'll talk about a couple other different problems with variables on both sides, but that's basically it. We want to get our variables on one side, numbers on the other. You're going to hear me say that a lot when we're solving. Variables on one side, numbers on the other.